What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Some commentary for you. Not even going to go through the normal spiel. I want you to actually do me a favor. We lost a legend in the NFL the other day in Buddy Ryan. There's not many people that I hold on the level of respect and regard that I do Buddy Ryan. If you don't know about the impact he had on professional football, if you don't know what his legacy was to defensive football, then you are really selling yourself short as a fan. Even the most casual fan, I believe you owe it to yourself to set aside 15, 20 minutes, even if it means just watching snippets of the 85 Bears documentary and unfortunately seeing his health failing firsthand. You owe that amount of time to understand the impact he had on this game. There's very few people that I put on that high of a pedestal, where when they pass, I actually take time out of my day to think about how much of their lives they devoted to making something I love in football better for me. Another person in that regard who I wish continued health would be Dick LeBeau. So I put those two gentlemen basically side by side, and to lose one of them is a tragedy. And obviously, speaking of someone that coached the Steelers for a very long time, we'll parlay that into me being a Colts fan. Tragically, we lost Zerlon Tipton in an accident that is both tragic and horrific in the same light. To both of those gentlemen, rest in peace and Godspeed. But to continue with my video, I've had a lot of people come into my channel new that haven't been here, which I think is great. I love different opinions. I love subscribers coming on board. I love people communicating with me. I like communicating with you guys. But I've had one question repeatedly pressed to me over the past few weeks, and I wanted to address it in a video. Should you buy Madden 17? Now, for those of you that don't know, you can go back and check my track record. I will never tell you what to do with your money. I don't believe in it. Okay, to me, $60 is a lunch if it has to be. I don't know what $60 is to you. If I have to tell you to feed your family before you buy a video game, don't buy any video game. But what people do with their surplus money, their excess money, do what makes you happy, okay? To some people, that's food. To other people, that's porn. To some people, it's trading cards. I don't know. If you have something in your life that makes you happy, and you have money to spend on it, then go spend the money on it, whether it's a game or not. Now, I will say, and a lot of you drew the conclusion from my interview, the concern I have is knowing Rex and Clint go to bat for simulation football every single day. At some point, that has to bear fruit. And the time that doesn't, I'm concerned about what that will mean for the direction these two strive to push this game. And to that point, I think you can go and look at interviews both last year and this year where they freely admit the game is not where they want it to be. They continue to push to get it to where it needs to be, but neither of them have accepted where the game currently is as far as simulation football. They may say they're satisfied with it, but there's a difference between satisfied and finished. And I think both of them would probably tell you they will never be finished. So in that mindset, if you're selling this simulation football model to people that understandably have to market this game to children and casuals, the year that things don't progress in sales is troubling to me to think of that concept of what may happen. I know a lot of people don't like when Rex throws out Metacritics or throws out sales or ratings or this game, that game, here's what we did, best in class, and you say, well, listen, you're the only game in class. Well, look. Well, what he's doing there is showing, hey, listen, the game is selling. And to that point, not to discredit anyone that worked on this game before, but I think if you look at where Madden is now, in the direction it is now, versus where it was 8, 9 years ago. I think it's in a better place. Now, it may be in a better place because we're on better consoles, better technology, better equipment, but I firmly believe the direction this game is going by the people that are steering it is completely in a simulation-based mindset. Now, does that mean it's getting there? That's going to be something we have to decide when the game comes out. And that's not a question we're going to be able to answer in a day or in a week, but that questions will be answered over months. And whether you continue to seek enjoyment and play the game months and months after its release is probably also a direct correlation to how you feel about spending that $60. Because to me, a game's worth is not determined on day one, but determined on day 364 when I have to decide whether I'm going to buy the next one. So I guess ultimately, to determine whether you're going to buy Madden 17 or not, I would recommend that you take a long look at how you felt about Madden 16. Take a long listen to the interviews that not just myself, but many people have done with Rex and the people that build this game, and ask yourself if that's something you're willing to invest into. And whatever decision you make, I'll support. Because I know whatever decision you make, I'll be here to reinforce, either positively or negatively, with the criticism that I'm going to make. And finally, to the point that some of you really took exception to of my desire to be a game changer, that's just kind of my nature. When someone tells me I can't do something, when someone is telling other people what I can't do, I naturally strive to achieve that. And personally, I understand the liability I may pose to EA as being someone that bears a lot of negative publicity about their game. But my objective is to show that I can continue to make the quality and the consistency and the really criticalness of the content that I do now, but in such a way where it can't be shown as a negative or as a liability to impede game sales, which kind of in itself is almost a compliment to know that what I do so well, they know that it impacts sales and would naturally be cautious about aligning with me. But I also know in going back and looking at the 2K videos, I understand where some people could skew that as being biased, because I never looked at 2K and said, okay, how can I help them make this game better? I looked at that and said, okay, this game is done. This game is not going to be made next year. Why do I care so much about the problems that can't be fixed? Let me care about what's in this game that's good and help bring it into the current game that we have in Madden. And perhaps, in retrospect, that may not have been the best way to look at it. And I certainly respect how people could draw a biased opinion from anyone that would look at anything that way. Because I wasn't so much focused on the negative or the problems in 2K, I was more focused on the issues that needed to be addressed in Madden. So for what that's worth, I know this is probably one of the longer videos I've done. I appreciate you guys checking this out. I'd love to know your criticism of these thoughts. And I, of course, will be back in the week. And some of you do ask, why do I say in the week with more content when it's always the next day? Because one day I will not be here for like a whole week. And no one will be able to say that I didn't warn you. So I'll be back in the week with more content.